Hmm. All right. Well, welcome to a historic day, everybody. Some of you may know me as Ben from Philly here on TikTok. Others might just be getting to know me. Um, Either way, welcome to the very first, in which I hope is many, many episodes of the Ben Caplan Show, a weekday daily talk show where I'm covering all things Philly sports, past, present, and future. And I am really excited to get this going. This is my first foray, I guess, into anything like this. So I'm hoping that I'm going to get some viewers because I was able to somehow get $10,000. $10,000. I wish I got $10,000 for this. I was able to get 10,000 followers here on TikTok, and that was a lot for me. It's probably smaller for a lot of other creators here, but that was something. So I was thinking, hey, if I could get 10,000 people to follow me on TikTok, maybe I got some kind of voice, and we're going to see what I can do with this. So thanks for tuning in. You won't be disappointed. As I said earlier, some of you may know me. My name is Ben Caplan. Go by Ben from Philly here on TikTok. You can catch the show live daily, or I'm going to upload every episode to YouTube as well. And again, this is my very first chance attempt at something like this, and I'm really excited about it. And I have no idea what I'm doing. So we're going to be figuring this out together, and hopefully, as the days and weeks and months go by, this show can just get better and better and better. Um, and I'm doing this because really, like I just said, I got recently to over 10,000 followers on TikTok, and that was very exciting for me. But, in the grand scheme of things, that isn't a whole lot, even especially here on this side of TikTok, the Philly sports community TikTok side. I'm still a relatively small creator, and I don't know many media people that are willing to give a 37-year-old with very limited media experience and 10,000 followers on TikTok any sort of chance. So if I want to carve out any sort of place for myself here in the Philadelphia sports landscape, I just need to go ahead and do it myself. So that's why I'm so excited about this, because this is all me, and this is basically for me. And I'm hoping that even though I'm doing this for myself to see what I can do, that I can catch some viewers along the way, and you like what I have to say, and you may possibly even agree with it. Um, so, and this show is really going to cover all things Philly sports. Primarily Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers. I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about the Flyers anymore, so I need some Flyers experts to help me. But past, present, future, I'm a big list maker. I'm hoping to get a lot of great guests, whether they're in this Philadelphia sports landscape, whether they're just interesting people. We'll see, because I'm more than just a Philly sports fan. I'm an eclectic kind of guy, so I'm going to try to, you know, have my personality all over the show. So it's not always going to be 100% sports. Primarily will be, but there's going to be some other fun surprises along the way. If you want to catch me, you can catch me here daily, Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock. I'm going to be doing this for about an hour every day during the week. If you miss an episode live here on TikTok, I'm going to post this to YouTube. You can click it in my profile and go to my YouTube channel and subscribe there. I'm hoping people are hearing this okay, because this is the first time I've ever done this. I have no technical skills whatsoever. I just randomly bought a microphone at Best Buy, and I'm hoping the levels are good. I'm hoping people are going to enjoy this. Oh man, well, I proceed. There are some comments here. Appreciate the kind words, everybody. Thanks for watching so far. Um, all right, well, I wanted to give an intro. I felt like in my mind that intro was going to be like 10, 15 minutes, but I feel like in reality it was only about, what am I doing this for? Not even 5 minutes. Haven't been on there 5 minutes yet, but there's not a lot to this. I am trying to make a place for myself here in the Philadelphia sports landscape. I think I can do it with all of your help. And I'm excited for the journey, and I hope you are too. So I'm really just going to dive right into things, what things I want to talk about. And obviously, we have to talk about the state of your Philadelphia Eagles right now, because I don't know about anybody else, but they feel like a complete dumpster fire to me right now. The past 72 hours has been nothing but horrible news, or not. I want to say horrible and overreact, but not great news. Jalen Hurts has this mysterious illness. He had to travel separate from the team. Nobody even knows if he can even play yet. The last I read, is that he's going to try to play. What does that mean? He's going to try to play. I mean, I feel like the Eagles are being very secretive. Obviously, they're not going to relay too much to us. But that's not good. Then you put that on top of Darius Slay's arthroscopic knee surgery. He's going to be out the remainder of the regular season. They say hopefully he can come back for the playoffs. I mean, they just clinched the playoff spot, so they'll definitely be there, but that's not good. So, and then you on top of that, the Eagles demote their defensive coordinator, and they promote, I guess, Matt Patricia to the defensive play caller now. I mean, so I'm going to get into all of this. It's just a real dumpster fire, and I was telling myself, honestly, before I started the prep for the show today, that, hey, I think the Eagles are going to win this game pretty easily against the Seahawks. But the more I kept looking into it, the more just like scared I've become, because the defense is already trash. We have no idea if Matt Patricia can even call plays anymore. If Jalen Hurts, I don't think has been 100% for a long time because of his knee, but now he's got this illness. I hope he can overcome it. I hope he can play because, who knows, if the Eagles have to rely on Marcus Mariota, I think we're in a lot of trouble. I don't know about everybody out there. But if Marcus Mariota has to play quarterback tonight for the Eagles, I think the Eagles lose. I don't know about, they're a very mediocre football team without Jalen Hurts as quarterback. And their defense, again, has been trash for a long time now. So, yeah, it's, I am scared. I was excited for this game, and now I'm scared. And what's crazy, too, is, not crazy, I guess what's bothersome is, this Eagles team, they give no information whatsoever about anything ever. They give as little as possible. I remember back in the day, people used to get really mad at Andy Reid because he gave basically nothing answers. He gave no information to the media, and it pissed a lot of people off. I feel like Nick Sirianni gives even way less than Andy Reid gave, and he kind of gets a pass with it sometimes. So I don't know. But yeah, so Darius Slay, he's going to be out the remainder of the season. It's the Eagles secondary has already been terrible pretty much all season. I mean, they're definitely missing Avonte Maddox, clearly. They're giving up tons of points and passing yards every game, and Darius Slay is supposed to be their best player. So they're already losing. So they're losing their best player on already a pretty trash secondary, if you ask me. So that's not good. And when I think about this game, it makes me kind of scared because of DK Metcalf, and the Seahawks have good wide receivers, and everyone's been lighting up the Eagles. So what's going to stop the Seahawks from doing that as well, especially when the Eagles are missing their best secondary player? So, I'm not saying they're screwed and there's no chance the Eagles can win this game without Darius Slay, but I think, I don't see how it's not going to be a shootout type of game. And if it's a shootout type of game, to relay this back to Jalen Hurts' mysterious illness, I don't think the Eagles can win in a shootout if Marcus Mariota has to play quarterback tonight. Now, the good news is, I guess, even if the Eagles do lose this game tonight, since the Cowboys lost yesterday, it's not the end of the world. The Eagles can still win the division. They further hurt their chances to get the number one seed, which I don't know. I think the Eagles have one chance and one chance only to get back the number one seed in the NFC, and that's if San Francisco loses to Baltimore, but I don't know how likely that's going to be. So, look, it's not the end of the world they lose this game, but this is, I don't know how happy we're all going to be if we're sitting here tomorrow and the Eagles have now lost 3 in a row, especially to a really poor Seattle Seahawks team. So, yeah, I mean, again, we don't even know if Hurts is playing yet. It's, 3 hours until kickoff, and we're just kind of sitting here, just twiddling our thumbs. So, it's we'll probably all find out at the same time right before kickoff, when the Eagles are running onto the field or they're warming up, which is frustrating for all of us because, there's nothing we can do about it. So that's kind of where we are. The Eagles are a dumpster fire right now. I kind of feel like I went off track a little bit there, but things aren't going great in the NovaCare complex, and especially you're all this, the Slay injury, the Hurts illness, and now the defensive coordinator situation, which I'll get into in just a second. You put this on top of just 2 of the worst losses in probably the last 2 seasons. I mean, Yeah, so it's just things are just it's like a pressure cooker, man. Things are getting worse and worse and worse. Um, so and now this drama with the defensive coordinator Sean Desai and Matt Patricia, like Sean Desai, they didn't fire him, but it's definitely a demotion. They're putting him in the booth. He's not allowed to call plays anymore. And they're making and they're letting, I guess, or they're ordering to Matt Patricia will now be making the defensive play calls. Look, I don't disagree with this move at all. I mean, here are some highlights of Sean Desai. The Eagles are last in third down defense. They are 28th in points per game allowed, and they're 26th in passing yards. And those are just the three stats I was able to look up in the 5 minutes before hopping on here. It's been trash. When you all season long, I feel like every quarterback has been just lighting the Eagles up. Maybe not every quarterback, but it hasn't been good. And so I'm not against the demotion. I guess what I'm against is why even keep him around? If Sean Desai is your defensive coordinator and he's doing such a bad job that you have to take away responsibilities from him, and you're now making Matt Patricia the defensive play caller, doesn't that kind of ipso facto make him the new defensive coordinator? And now you're just kind of this guy who used to be the defensive coordinator and now has, I'm not going to say no power, but just no say in what the defense is doing on game day. Like, how can you function? I mean, that just seems like that seems messy. It seems really, really messy. Like it's when you break up with an ex, but you're still trying to be friends with them. It's not going to work. That's the only thing that I don't like about this move. I would rather them just fired him. Like, why even still have him in there? I think it can only cause problems if you have a guy who used to be the defensive coordinator, well, still technically the defensive coordinator, and now he's not anymore, and it's gonna cause some friction. I've watched enough reality TV to know that that is a recipe for disaster. I don't know what everybody else thinks about that, but I can't be the only person that is thinking this right now. Like, I think it's just silly. Like, either fire him or don't, or just go all the way or don't. I don't know. So yeah, just and you just throw it in. It's just a dumpster fire. It is just an absolute dumpster fire. Like, I'm seeing a lot of comments here. Birds better play better tonight. Hope the Birds win. Like, Birds better play better. You're right, but are they going to? Feels like a lot of drama and a lot of things have been happening this past week, coming off of two huge losses. Like, are you 100% focused on getting better and the Seattle Seahawks this week? I don't know. And the closer we get to kickoff, the more nervous I'm actually getting about this game. And I'm not trying to be negative here, like I typically am, but it's not looking good in Eagles land right now, down there at the NovaCare complex. Like, yeah, so we'll see. I don't know what I really haven't been able to see too much opinions on Matt Patricia calling the offense. I don't know. Calling the defense, I'm sorry. I don't know if it's a good move, it's a bad move, if he's the right guy. Like, Matt Patricia does have some success in the NFL. I mean, all of his success was with New England. From 2012 to 2017, Matt Patricia was the Patriots defensive coordinator. In that time, they won 2 Super Bowls. They went to a third. They lost to the Eagles. So, he must have been doing something right as the defensive coordinator to go to 3 Super Bowls and win 2 of them. I'll be honest, though, it does make me a little nervous that he was the defensive coordinator when Nick Foles had a career day at Super Bowl 52. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. One of the best performances of all time, but, is it really a good thing if Nick Foles is lighting up your defense like that in the Super Bowl? I mean, I don't know if anybody would have been able to stop Nick Foles that game, but so that makes me a little nervous. So it seems to me, I got off track. It seems to me, though, that as a defensive coach, Patricia has had success in the NFL. So you like that. However, the past, call it 6 seasons, 6 years, haven't been so kind to Matt Patricia. In that time, if we all remember, he was the Lions head coach for 3 seasons. He went 13, 29, and 1. Not very good. Now, look, a lot of people have tried to be the Detroit Lions head coach before, and mostly everybody, except for this year, have failed at it. Still, 13-29-1 as a head coach, and he just added the long list of Bill Belichick assistants that can't actually coach anywhere else without Bill Belichick. So then he comes back to New England, and he was hired as an it was weird because when they first hired him, they didn't really say what he was. He was kind of like an assistant coach, and then he became the offensive line coach. And last year, he ended up being the offensive play caller, and that did not go well for New England. So, it's from what I know about Matt Patricia and just what I read right here, it seems that Matt Patricia, might be a good coach if he can only focus on defense. So, which is what he will be doing. He will not be touching any offensive stuff. So the hope is, at least in my mind, now that Matt Patricia is a good defensive coach and he can really help make this defensive better, because he's had success when he's focused solely on the defense. And he hasn't done that though since 2017, since the Eagles beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So we will see. This will probably would be my guess. I mean, the Eagles have an easy schedule the rest of the way. I think they have the easiest schedule in the NFL for the rest of the season, which is great, which means they can win out and still win the division. And if they're lucky, get that number 1 seed again. I don't know how likely that's going to be, but there's still a chance. But this might be, it's either this game or the Arizona game, which is going to be the defense's most, I guess, the biggest test, if you can call it that, because as much as we all love Tommy Cutlets in New York, I don't think you're expecting the Giants offense to go off that day. And you hopefully the Eagles, even with this just awful defense, can stop them as well. But it's either today with facing the Eagles wide receivers, or trying to stop Kyler Murray when they face the Cardinals on New Year's Eve. So we will find out. If you're just joining me again, welcome. This is the very first episode of the Ben Caplan Show. I'm Ben Caplan. Some of you may already know me as Ben from Philly. And this is my attempt to carve out some space in the Philadelphia sports landscape. Thanks to everybody who has helped me get to 10,000 followers on TikTok. It was really that which kind of gave me the courage and the hope to do something like this, because I figured, hey, if I get 10,000 people to follow me, maybe I got a voice, maybe I got something to say, maybe some people are interested. So I appreciate you hopping in. I said earlier, I'm going to be covering all aspects of Philadelphia sports, past, present, future, primarily focusing on the Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers. But I make a lot of lists. I am looking for guests. If you want to be a guest on my show, shoot me a DM. Let me know why you want to be a guest and what we can talk about. Or you can send me an email to the Ben Caplan Show at gmail.com. Hop on. I'm looking for guests. Hey, if you want to sponsor the show too, I'm looking for sponsors. So shoot me an email at the Ben Caplan Show at gmail.com, or shoot me a DM. Follow me, shoot me a DM. And make sure you like, follow, subscribe everywhere you possibly can here on TikTok. And when I later post these shows on my YouTube channel, you can find it on YouTube at The Ben Caplan Show. All right, enough selfless promotion. Oh, thank you for all the kind words, everybody. It's really nice of everyone to say. So if you just joined me, I was talking about the dumpster fire that is the Philadelphia Eagles. And, it's funny because we haven't even gotten into the Eagles offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson, which from everything I'm seeing, when I say by seeing, I mean on TikTok, and when I talk to my friends, everybody seems to think he's doing an awful job. I'm gotta be honest, I'm not crazy about his play calling. The wide receiver screens, what are those things? He does 10 wide receiver screens a game, and maybe one works. It seems like a third of the offense is wide receiver screens, and another third of the offense is Jalen Hurts runs, which, I don't know. What is he playing, Madden? It's maddening that he keeps going back to these plays time and time again. And so I don't know. So he's it's funny. He's the least of the problems right now. But I think that's still a problem. I'm not going to excuse him from the dumpster fire that is the Philadelphia Eagles right now. It's just that there's bigger urns in the dumpster fire, I guess, being, Desai, being the Slay surgery coming kind of out of nowhere, Hurts' mysterious illness. We still don't even know if he's playing tonight. We're probably going to find out right at kickoff. Joy. Oh, joy. Uh, you know, Nick says, yeah, never adds any wide receivers motions. Yeah, the Eagles are last in the NFL in motion plays. Now, look, I'm not saying you have to do motion to win games, but there's no creativity. He seems very predictable, especially the last 2 weeks. At least the 49ers and the Cowboys knew exactly what he was doing. So, hey, maybe next week the drama will be, if the Eagles don't win, maybe next week the drama is Brian Johnson gets demoted and somebody else is calling the plays. I don't know. It's not looking good though. It's just a dumpster fire from what I am seeing. All right. Yeah, it's crazy too. Yeah, I thought we were going to see a change maybe for Johnson before Desai, but who knows? Who knows? But anyway, thank you for joining me. Welcome back. Thanks for the first ever Ben Caplan Show. I am Ben Caplan. Some of you may know me as Ben from Philly, so please like, follow, and subscribe because I'll be doing the show daily during the week, covering all things Philly sports. Because I'm going to do more than just talk about the news of the day, talk about the Birds game coming up tonight, which I'll get into in a little bit. Talking about the Sixers, talk about the Sixers. They got a game tonight too. They should win tonight. I want to do fun things. And I think making lists is fun. I don't know. I like going through jersey numbers. So I'm doing right now, I want to go through a segment I'm calling Best Jersey Numbers, where I'm going to go through numbers 00 through 99. And I'm going to tell you the best Philadelphia athlete to have ever worn that jersey. If you agree with me, let me know. If you don't agree with me, let me know. But I'll be going through 0 through 5 today. And as I go progress through the show, I'll be filling out the rest of the list. So here we go. Best jersey numbers. Now, honestly, 00, we're going with Spencer Hawes. Now, perfectly honest, I don't know any other Philadelphia athlete that was 00 before Spencer Hawes. So, yeah, Spencer Hawes, congratulations. You're 00, and I didn't do any research on him, so all I know is that I think he's from Seattle, and he shaved Seattle skyline into the back of his head once. So, there we go. But we're going to start with number 0. And when I think about the best athletes to have ever worn a number 0, there's really only one athlete that I could find, and it's relatively easy to see. It's relatively easy. It's Tyrese Maxey. I'm not sure who else it could have been. If you think there's a better number 0 in the history of Philadelphia sports, please let me know, because I couldn't find anybody. And honestly, even if I could find somebody else, I don't know if they'd be as good as Tyrese Maxey, because he has just been phenomenal in 4 short seasons playing for your Philadelphia 76ers. So give me 1 second here. By the way, I love this website, StatMuse. If you're looking for stats, this is not a promotion. If they're looking for people to promote, StatMuse, reach out to me. The Ben Caplan Show at gmail.com. I love this website. Any type of statistic I need to find in sports, I go right to StatMuse. So check it out. But I want to look up Tyrese Maxey for everybody, because he has just been phenomenal the past 4 seasons. I mean, I'm sure you all know that. If you're a Sixers fan, I don't have to tell you that. But let's look at his career. Because in 4 seasons, I think the thing that's why this guy's so exciting is because he just gets better every single year. Look, he's gone from every year. He's gone from 8 points to 17.5 to 20.3. He's now averaging 25.6 points per game. He's gone up in assists from 2 to 4.3 to 3.5 to 6.7. His field goal percentage is still under 50%. I'll be honest. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know enough about the NBA to know if a 47.7 career field goal percentage is good. It feels kind of low. Somebody out there let me know, because I'll be perfectly honest, I am not sure. But the point is, Tyrese Maxey just continues to get better every single year. And obviously Joel Embiid, but he is the main reason the Sixers are even competing this season. They're 4th in the East right now. I mean, it's only December, but him and Joel Embiid are the reason that they are competing, and they are where they are. So congratulations, Tyrese Maxey. You are the greatest number 0 in the history of Philadelphia sports. All right. From there, I was going through number 1, and this was it wasn't easy, but because it came down to 2 people. And let me know if you agree or disagree with this. But when you talk about the greatest number 1, in the history of Philadelphia sports, it comes down in my mind to two people. Richie Ashburn for the Phillies, Bernie Parent for the Flyers. Both Hall of Famers, both have their numbers retired, both just Philadelphia legends. I mean, Richie Ashburn became an announcer after his playing days, and honestly, I think more people knew him because of his announcing than his playing days. At least people my age know that, because we never saw him play, but we saw him in the booth every night with Harry Callis. So it came down to those two. I had to go because of my baseball bias and because he's just, from what I've heard, the greatest, nicest man ever. Richie Ashburn, Whitey was his nickname. I mean, what else can I say? He's got Ashburn Alley. He's got the statue in Citizens Bank Park. It was a real treat to watch Richie Ashburn and Harry Callis in the booth together, especially when I first started watching baseball, because when I was a kid, growing up in the 90s, the Phillies were trash. I mean, you thought before 2022 it was rough being a Phillies fan. Try being a Phillies fan from 1994 till like the year 2000. They were probably the worst franchise in Major League Baseball. However, because Richie Ashburn and Harry Callis were working the booth together, you could still watch a baseball game and enjoy it, even though the Phillies were getting smoked. So yeah, give the nod to Richie Ashburn, the greatest number one in Philly sports history. What have I stumbled on? You have stumbled on the Ben Caplan Show. Welcome, welcome. If you're just joining us, this is my attempt to get noticed, to carve out some room in the Philadelphia landscape. Make sure you like, you subscribe, you follow me. These shows will be live daily, Monday through Friday. And all my shows will be posted to YouTube after. And my hope is, because this is really the first time I'm ever doing something like this, every episode is just going to get better and better and better, because I'm going to get more experience. I'm going to get more comfortable. I'm going to start getting better guests. I'm going to start making better lists. So keep watching, because it's just going to get better from here. I know you're like, oh, Ben, your show's already amazing. You've been doing it for 20 minutes. How do you do it so great? Well, I stay humble. But no, the hope is I just keep getting better, and I keep getting more entertaining, and more people are able to tune in, and hopefully they like what I have to say. And go Birds. We were just talking earlier about the dumpster fire that is the Philadelphia Eagles going into tonight's Monday night game against the Seahawks. Going through a segment, finishing my segment right now. Best jersey numbers, not finishing, kind of in the middle of it. We went through 0, Tyrese Maxey. Number 1, Richie Ashburn. Going for number 2, and I don't think this was that difficult. It was Moses Malone. It really came down to two people again, Moses Malone, and silly saying his name next to Moses Malone, but David Akers. 5-time Pro Bowler, David Akers. We all think Jake Elliott is this great kicker when he's amazing. He crushes 60-plus yarders in crunch time. But it's like David Akers walked so Jake Elliott could run. I mean, I think David Akers, he was the first kicker I had ever seen people like go and buy his jersey. And you'll still see some David Akers jerseys from time to time when you go to an Eagles game. He was a very popular kicker in this town. But that being said, greatest number 2 in Philadelphia sports history, gotta go Moses Malone. Simply because he was the missing piece to that 83 NBA title team. They had several bites at the apple, metaphorically speaking, and couldn't get the job done against the Lakers, against the Celtics. But they brought in Moses, and he became in the same year the NBA MVP and the NBA Finals MVP, and they swept the Lakers. And if you watched Winning Time on HBO Max, they actually did go over. There was an episode where they showed that, and it made me very proud as a Philadelphia sports fan. So congratulations, Moses Malone. You are the greatest number 2 in Philadelphia sports history. If anybody agrees, let me know in the comments. If you don't agree, let me know in the comments. But yeah, it's kind of hard to argue whether it's Moses Malone or it is David Akers. Got to go with Moses Malone. Yeah, man. Yeah. And yeah, bonus points though for David Akers before I go on to number 3. And I want to thank Ed Supernova Nowakowski for reminding me of this one. David Akers cut possibly the greatest promo of all time at the NFL draft in Dallas the year after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It was the it was the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I think what made it the promo so good was, I think any former Eagle cut in that promo would have, been really, really good. But the fact that it was a kicker who was just laying it to Dallas, and hey, Dallas, last time you were in the Super Bowl, these players weren't even born. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. I hope he wrote that himself. Um, yeah, just great roast. Just so good. What a promo. Because I remember and for me, because I remember the year before the draft was here in Philly. I forget which Cowboy it was, but he cut a promo on Philly, saying that the Dallas Cowboys are the 5-time Super Bowl champs. But David Akers remembered that, he stored it away, and he got his chance. And man, he just laid into him. So Ed, thank you for reminding me of that one. What a time. All right. So we're going to go through these numbers, going through the greatest Philadelphia jersey numbers. If you're just joining us, it is 00, Spencer Hawes. Number 0, Tyrese Maxey. Number 1, Richie Ashburn. Number 2, Moses Malone. And number 3, this is possibly the easiest number on the entire list. You got to go Allen Iverson. Got to go AI, at least for right now. I think there's a chance, if I were to make this list again in maybe 5 years, we could put Bryce Harper above AI. But to me, that all has to do with whether or not the Phillies can win the World Series or not with Bryce Harper. And so until the Phillies win the World Series with Bryce Harper, the greatest number 3 in Philadelphia sports history is Allen Iverson. I don't know how anybody could possibly disagree with that. But hey, if you think I'm wrong, let me know. I'd love to hear your opinion why. Yeah, I think it's either going to be him or Bryce Harper. And I think some people might even put Bryce Harper right now above Allen Iverson. But to me, they got to win the World Series. Bryce, they came close. They came so close. So I'm putting AI in there, and maybe yeah. So we will see. Oh man. All right, but moving on, going into number 4. I'm going 0 through 5 today. So number 4, going to the greatest Philly sports jerseys of all time. This one was a relatively other easy list. Other one for me. Some called him the dude. Some called him nails. Some call him a convicted felon even. But it's Lenny Dykstra. He was definitely my favorite Philly growing up. As I got older, I kind of realized the kind of person Lenny Dykstra was, and maybe that shouldn't be your favorite Philly. That being said, he was one hell of a ball player, and I loved watching him play. And I still to this day, I think Lenny Dykstra was robbed of the 1993 National League MVP. It went to Barry Bonds. That was his first season in San Francisco. But the Giants that year, they choked away a big division lead to Atlanta and lost on the last day of the regular season. Whereas Lenny Dykstra led the Phillies to 97 wins and won the NL East and eventually won the National League. But Lenny got robbed. I don't want to talk too much at least today, about why Lenny Dykstra should have won the 1993 National League MVP. But just know he got robbed, and I will probably believe that until the day I die. All right, so gonna wrap the first part of my list up. Jake Elliott over Dykstra, someone put in the comments. Jake Elliott definitely over Lenny Dykstra in just almost everything, in almost every aspect of life, 100%. But I could not for this list. I know Jake Elliott's number 4. That actually is good. Great kicker, but I think my baseball bias probably takes over. And I don't know, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased against kickers. I don't know. I love David Akers. Jake Elliott is great, and I think Jason Kelsey even said on his podcast that Jake Elliott is the best athlete on the Eagles. He can do everything. He's good at everything he does, and he wasn't even a football player. I think he was he thought he was going to be a professional tennis player, and he kind of just fell into kicking, and it was just something he was really good at. So yeah, it almost doesn't seem fair that it's you have a hidden talent for booting 60-yard field goals. But hey, good for him. I'm glad he's on our team. So yeah, maybe I'm still putting Dykstra over Jake Elliott at number 4. But hey, maybe one day my mind will be changed. But in every other aspect of life, yeah, Jake Elliott way over Lenny Dykstra. And yeah, no point deduction for Lenny Dykstra taking steroids. That entire 1993 team was taking steroids. So who wasn't taking steroids in the 90s that played Major League Baseball. So all right, gonna wrap up my list here, at least for today. If you're just joining me, I'm going through 0 through 5 of the greatest jersey numbers ever in Philadelphia sports history. 00 was Spencer Hawes, 0 Tyrese Maxey, 1 Richie Ashburn, 2 Moses Malone, 3 Allen Iverson, 4 Lenny Dykstra, and 5, to me, this is really simple. And no offense to Pat Burrell out there, an all-time Philadelphia legend for more than just baseball reasons. But you got to go with the greatest quarterback in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles, Donovan McNabb. Number 5 will always love you. I know McNabb is like super, super controversial in this town, I think, still, just because he was supposed to, at least in my opinion, Donovan McNabb was supposed to be the guy that was going to finally get the Eagles over that hump. They were going to win the Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid. And fair or not, because he failed every single time and he was the quarterback, he got all of the blame for it, which, fair or not, everything seems to fall on the quarterback in the NFL. And it's a shame because, and then he had some problems after he played, but I don't want to get into that. But it's a real shame because he is the greatest quarterback in Eagles history, in my opinion. From I want to say 2000 to 2004, he was a highlight machine. If you ever get bored, like go on YouTube, watch some old Donovan McNabb highlights. He was the mobile quarterback of the early 2000s. I mean, him and Vic, but he was a way better quarterback than Vic because McNabb actually could pocket pass and he watched film and he was strong. And the dude once threw 4 touchdowns on a broken ankle. And like, for some reason, people hate him in this town. And I think it's just because he couldn't get the job done. He couldn't do it, which is a real shame. But, he needs his props. He's the greatest quarterback in this team's history. Now, look, we'll see what happens in a few years with Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts can win the Super Bowl, he might be the greatest quarterback in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles. So we will see. But yeah, so you got to go McNabb, especially over Pat Burrell. Now, I love Pat Burrell. Pat Burrell was also he was disappointing in his own right. I remember when he got drafted, the Phillies took him number 1 overall from the University of Miami. And he was supposed to be better than he was, I think. He was like a 30 home run guy, 100 RBI guy. But when he was first coming up, I think everyone was like, oh man, we got like a 45, 50 home run guy. We got a 120, 130 RBI guy. And it didn't really pan out that way. And every time he struck out, he would do that little, I call it the Burrell shuffle. He would there'd be a fastball right down the middle of the plate and he would move his hips out of the way. It drove me insane. He wasn't the best fielder either. The Phillies always had to take him out for defense in the 9th inning, but he to me Pat Burrell will always be the perfect example of this is when it's your last chance at something to make it count. Because in the 2008 World Series, in Game 5, up until Part 2 of Game 5, remember the rain delay, Pat Burrell, I believe, was 0 for 12 in the World Series. And this was possibly going to be his last at-bat in the World Series, and it was his last at-bat as a Philly ever. And what did he do? He crushed a double to start the inning. Could have been a triple if he was running a little harder out of the box. But the point is, when it counted most, when the Phillies really needed him to help win the World Series, he was able to come through. So my dad would always say, especially when I was in a batting cage, hey, it's the last pitch, make it count. Pat Burrell's a perfect example of that. And hey, he did win the World Series with the Phillies. McNabb couldn't get the job done, unfortunately. But I think I'm going to give the edge to McNabb, the greatest quarterback in Philadelphia Eagles history. Now, again, go on YouTube or here on TikTok, probably watch some Donovan McNabb highlights. If there's certain highlights you should watch, watch his game against, it was the 2003 NFC divisional round game against the Packers. Donovan McNabb makes absolutely one of the greatest plays on a touchdown pass to Todd Pinkston, of all people, to help the Eagles win that game. Can't recommend watching his highlights enough. So that was the first part of my list. I hope everyone enjoyed it there. I'm new to this. I'm trying some different segments out. So going through calling this whole thing best jersey numbers. Went through 0 through 5 today. Might go through 6 through 10 tomorrow. We will see. But let me know if you like my list. If you disagree, if you don't disagree, if you or agree, let me know. So if you're just joining me, I want to get into the Eagles a little bit. But if you're just joining me, welcome to the Ben Caplan Show, the very first episode of the Ben Caplan Show, which I hope to be many of. I'm trying to make a name for myself. I'm trying to carve out a little piece of the Philadelphia sports landscape for myself. And I think the fact that when I got to 10,000 followers on TikTok, that was kind of like, all right, I think this is something I can do. I think this is something I'm going to attempt because, even though 10,000 followers is a lot for me and a lot for other people, and I'm grateful and thankful, there's not many people in the media world that are willing to give a 37-year-old with very little media experience and 10,000 TikTok followers a chance to speak his mind. So this is what I'm doing. I'm speaking my mind here on my channel. So welcome to the Ben Caplan Show. I'll be doing this daily. You can watch this live every day at 5 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Or if you can't catch me there, you can catch all my shows up on my YouTube channel. So please like me, follow me, subscribe to me everywhere you can, because we're going to be growing this thing. And the great news is too, because I am so brand new at this, every episode I do is going to be just better and better, because I'm going to get a little better every single time, whether it's simple things like being just the technical issues that I might have, whether it's how I'm going to get better guests, better interviews. I'm going to have some better segments. I'm going to be more entertaining. It's going to be a great ride, and I'm glad you're all here enjoying me. I appreciate the kind words to everyone. So, all right. One more thing before I want to cover before I get out of here today, and that's the game tonight. That is the Eagles Seahawks game tonight, and I gotta be honest. I was more confident about this game like 3 days ago, and then just a whirlwind of dumpster fireness happens. Slay has knee surgery. Hurts has this illness. Sean Desai isn't calling the plays anymore. It's going to be Matt Patricia. Is the offense even any better? Who knows? So I was feeling confident, but I don't know. Look, the good news is the Seahawks are they're very meh. They're 6-7. I don't think Geno Smith is even playing tonight, or he's still very doubtful for the game tonight. So that means Drew Lock is going to have to play for the Seahawks. He's played in 3 games this year. He's been 26 of 43, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's a journeyman, but I don't want to be a Negadelphian, but if this comes down to if Jalen Hurts can't play and it has to be Marcus Mariota, and it's going to be Marcus Mariota versus Drew Lock, I might take Drew Lock in that. I don't know. I don't know, because I'm not even sure what Marcus Mariota did. He's played like in 1 game. I think he was in garbage time for that 49ers game. Let me see if I can find what he did last year. Marcus Mariota stats. Let's see. I'm going to look at his career stats, actually. All right. So last season with Atlanta, Marcus Mariota was 184 for 300, a completion percentage of 61.3. 15-5, 15 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Sorry, 9 interceptions. Guess that's okay. And a QB rating of 88.2. So, yeah, I'm not super confident if Marcus Mariota has to play this game. So there's that. Good news is, though, too, Seahawks defense, much like the Eagles defense, not good. I think they're 25th in opponent's points per game. So we'll see. And I think here's what I'm going to say. If Jalen Hurts plays in this game, the Eagles will win. And I think they'll win by 2 touchdowns. Let's say 28-14. If Jalen Hurts does not play in this game, I think the Seahawks win. And I think they win like really ugly too. It's going to be like 19-13 14 or yeah, something just bad like that. And it's going to be like turnovers galore, which again, it's been turnovers galore for the Eagles last week it was. So I don't know. I don't know if Matt Patricia is going to be the fix. Because again, I don't think we know enough about Matt Patricia anymore to see if he can call defenses anymore. He hasn't really done it in 6 seasons. When he was doing it for the Patriots from 2012 to 2017, he was doing a good job. They won 2 Super Bowls. They went to a third, lost to the Eagles. But when he was the head coach of the Lions, not so great. Then when he went back to New England, he was an offensive coach. And then he was calling offensive plays, which from everything I saw, he did a terrible job at. So, we'll see. But I hope, if Jalen Hurts plays, we're good. Eagles got this game. Shouldn't be a problem. But if he doesn't, which again, kickoff's in 2 hours, we still don't know if he's playing or not. I'm nervous. Good news is, too, if they lose this game, it's not the end of the world. Because the Cowboys lost. The Cowboys got smoked by Buffalo. Thank the Lord. But, I think if the Eagles have any hope of somehow snagging that number 1 seed, they've got to win out. And really, their only chance to get it is if they win out and if San Francisco loses to Baltimore. Because I think that's the only game San Francisco has a chance of losing. If I stand correct, let me look at the rest of their schedule. 49ers. Coming up, the 49ers have, they got the Ravens next week, and then they got the Commanders, and then they host the Rams. So yeah, they're not losing to the Commanders, and they're not losing to the Rams at home. So next week is it. Next week is the one and only chance the Eagles have to get that number 1 seed back, which as of right now, I think the 49ers, they win that game too. I think the 49ers are probably the best team in the NFL. I know the Ravens keep winning, and I'm not saying they're winning like the Eagles, but they're not. They go into those fourth quarters and they give up those leads, and they get kind of shaky. And I'm not a Ravens expert, but in my humble opinion, so go Ravens next week. Anyway, we'll see. So all right, everybody, I think that's gonna just about do it for my first very episode ever of the Ben Caplan Show. Thanks you so much for tuning in. Again, though, before I get out of here, I am looking for guests. I'm looking for guests that can talk Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, even WWE. If you want to be a guest, let me know. Shoot me an email to thebencaplanshow@gmail.com. Hey, if you're looking to advertise, we're looking for sponsors. Shoot me an email to thebencaplanshow@gmail.com. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. And don't forget to follow me, subscribe here on TikTok, on YouTube. This will be posted to my channel shortly. And yeah, go Birds, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.